For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Hurricane Milton is now a Category 4, downgraded from a 5, but still on a forecasted path to hit Tampa Bay by Wednesday night in a once-in-a-century direct hit with towering storm surges. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis spoke this morning.
Hurricane Milton is still a major hurricane. It is no longer a Category 5, but it potentially could strengthen back to that as it makes its approach to the state of Florida. Maximum sustained winds are in excess of 150 miles an hour.
He says the state's helped evacuate more than 200 healthcare facilities in Milton's path. 36 county-run shelters are open, and fuel continues to arrive despite long lines at gas stations as people are filling up tanks to flee. Tampa Bay hasn't been hit directly by a major hurricane since 1921. Scientists are calling this year's hurricane season explosive. 5 hurricanes popped up between September 26th and October 6th, about a week, more than double the old record of 2. An analysis by Climate Central shows high sea surface temperatures fueling Milton's rapid intensification was made between 400 and 800 times more likely by the climate crisis. The White House, meanwhile, is pushing back on fake news about emergency aid in the wake of Hurricane Helene. That's left communities in 5 southeastern states, including Florida, devastated. It's killed at least 232 people. Nearly 200,000 still without power in the Carolinas and Georgia. Catherine Carley has more.
Everyone, especially those in positions of power, must do everything they can to encourage survivors to register for assistance, not discourage them by allowing these falsehoods to fester.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says conspiracy theories following Hurricane Helene are undermining recovery efforts. With another massive storm on its way, local officials in several southeastern states say they're already fighting rumors that FEMA is seizing property or stealing donations. Former President Donald Trump has falsely claimed disaster relief funds were being diverted to house undocumented migrants. I'm Catherine Carley for Pacifica Network and Public News Service.
In North Carolina, hit hard by Hurricane Helene, the insurance industry is requesting to raise homeowner insurance rates by more than 42% on average. A hearing began Monday, is expected to last weeks. An industry attorney said inflation and more storms require rate increases to ensure claims are covered and companies get a fair profit. A lawyer for the state says the insurance industry's requests are inflated, and western parts of North Carolina, like Asheville, hit hard by Helene. Insurers want a 20% increase. They're seeking a 99% increase for some beachfront properties. The Israeli military says it's killed a senior Hezbollah commander in a strike on Beirut, while the militant group's acting leaders promising more fighting against Israeli troops, vowing to strike deeper into Israel. Sheikh Naim Qassam, an acting leader of Hezbollah, said the group's military capabilities are still intact, and even more Israelis will be displaced as it extends its rocket fire into Israel. The statement was made on televised TV today. A new report from Human Rights Watch says Israel's preventing civilians from fleeing Lebanon by bombing escape routes, including a border between Lebanon and Syria. The group said by making a border crossing inaccessible at a time when hundreds of thousands of people are fleeing fighting and many others are in need of aid, the Israeli military threatens considerable civilian harm. In Gaza, Israel's war against Hamas is now in its second year, and the death toll of Palestinians is nearly 42,000. 41,965, according to Wafa news agency, citing Palestinian authorities. It's reporting 8 bombings killed at least 56 Palestinians in the last 24 hours. The death toll likely an undercount, as emergency services are unable to reach many casualties, and it's reporting dead bodies are trapped under rubble or scattered on roads across the war-torn enclave. Campus activism is expected to grow, with protests planned at universities across the country this week that began Monday. Students for Justice in Palestine and other groups are planning walkouts and marches from New York to Texas to California. The Supreme Court's hearing a challenge to a Biden administration regulation on ghost guns, difficult to trace weapons with an exponentially increased link to crime in recent years. The case is centered on gun kits that are sold online and can be assembled into a functioning weapon in less than 30 minutes. The Biden administration's regulation requires background checks, age verification, and serial numbers, likening the gun kits to a firearm. Manufacturers and gun rights groups have challenged the rule, arguing the administration has overstepped its authority. Georgia's Supreme Court has halted a lower judge's ruling that ended the state's near-total abortion ban, while the state appeals the ruling. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.